This is the Kayman Flash Plus, and they make a Flash. The real difference between the two is that the Flash has a 250 watt motor, whereas the Flash Plus has a 350 watt motor, which I would recommend going with because this is a heavy bike. It's 58 pounds. Thankfully, that weight is balanced fairly well thanks to this, mid-frame mounted battery pack. It's actually 2 battery packs. You can kind of see here, one on each side. And it's really interesting the way that it's set up because this one also has relatively rigid and durable wheels here. They're like cast instead of having spokes and stuff. And so you don't get quite the same flex and maybe performance as spokes or lightweight, but you never have to true these, and the motor is actually built into that rear hub. So it's 350 watt. I believe it's 8 fun, probably just based on the other Kayman electric bikes that I've reviewed. They use the 8 fun motor, which is pretty good, and 350 watts is kind of standard, gets the job done. And overall, this bike, again, being pretty well balanced like this, and having like a kind of a fun aesthetic with this suspension fork up front, and it's got lights. That front light is actually, it's got a little reflector on it, and it's wired in to a light sensor, so the display lights up when it starts to get dark. The rear light, however, is just independent, battery pack powered little, you can see them in there like AAAs. Seat post suspension is nice. It's like a little bit of extra padding because the saddle is relatively firm. And I think the idea is like, it's kind of an off-road look. Jetson actually introduced a very similar electric bike, probably the same manufacturer, for 2015. It's the Jetson mountain bike, and I wasn't a huge fan. Like the way that this is set up, the frame kind of feels a little flexy. And check this out. The key for the battery to activate it, and you can see it says like A and B. So, there's 2 packs on it. Look where it is, though. I mean, it's like right there, right where your pedals go. Like as you're pedaling, just seems like an accident waiting to happen to me. And again, just the overall weight of the bike, I do like certain aspects of it. It's like decent cranks, well-go pedals, like big, solid platform here to work with, and they're grippy. And you've got little fenders. This is going to help you a little bit, but it's more like style fenders than the full-length, around town stuff. And that's part of that whole like mountain bike aesthetic I was talking about. Comes in a number of colors and stuff, but okay, getting back to the specs, 350 watt geared rear hub motor. Being geared, you're going to get a little bit of extra torque and, a little bit less weight than if it was gearless. So it does feel kind of zippy. Again, this is the Flash Plus 350 watt. The battery pack, it's like 9 amp hours, 36 volt. So, it's like just about average. And then the wheels on this one, 26-inch standard. Got these sort of like semi-smooth tires going on. And it's just interesting. And the whole adjustable stem right here, and then a 7-speed Shimano tourney. It's this, oversized kind of, I would call it basic shifter versus like trigger shifter or something like that. It's just, entry-level components here. On the back, we've got Shimano tourney TX. There's those 7-speed cassette right there, 7 sprockets. Some nice reflectors and stuff, though. And then a pedal X sensor you can see down there. There's like this little disc that as these little dots pass that sensor right there, there are 5 of them. That's what activates the motor in pedal assist mode. And there are 5 levels. In my experience, even level 1 is pretty like it just goes. There isn't a whole lot of like difference between level 1 and level 5. And being a pedelec, you don't have to push real hard on the pedals. They just, as long as you're moving, as long as you're pedaling, that motor's going to activate. So I guess if I could change some things about the bike, it'd be nicer if level 1 was a little gentler, right? Because then you could actually use that battery. You could extend the range of it. I've got level 5 to go to. I don't need level 1 to be so responsive. I like that it has a throttle, and I like the grips and stuff. And we've got the Tektro brake levers with the motor cut off. So as soon as you pull those, it's going to cut out your pedal assist, which is good. That's a good like safety feature. And then these nice disc brakes here, pretty solid stuff, 180 millimeter front and rear. So it's like you kind of, all the specs seem okay except for the weight. And frankly, I think it's like $1,900, and the just the regular Flash with the 250 watt motor, that one's like $1,800. It's a lot to pay for to what to me is like, it's just not my favorite frame. Even the rake on the fork, it doesn't, like steering it doesn't feel quite as balanced, and this isn't something that I would see myself actually taking off-road. I mean, I don't know, it's Suntour XCM suspension fork. Maybe that's all right. Suntour is a little bit more affordable stuff in general these days. Maybe they're going higher end soon, but you know, it's got like some basic adjustments, but there really isn't lockout. And 59 pounds, I mean, I don't know, just riding on a bike path off-road with this would be questionable. Although it is fairly balanced. I do like the display panel on this. You know, it's off to the left. There's another Flash bike from Kayman that has larger wheels. It's like the Flash 28, and it's got the display right in the middle. This one being off to the side, you can kind of activate it and press the buttons pretty easily. You don't have to take your hand off the grip at all to do that. It's got an up arrow and a down arrow, and that lets you navigate between different levels of assist. There are 5. You can see your battery level, your speed, your odometer. So it's all pretty cool stuff, you know? And then there's the light. You kind of like, you're supposed to be able to turn that on and off, but it's just staying lit right now. And a power button. I think that's kind of it. I know it's sort of jumbled a bunch of points together here. Nice kickstand, but I'm trying to beat the daylight here. Get as much in as I can today, and it's been an interesting bike. I've been kind of cruising around with this, feeling it out. So I'm gonna start in pedal assist level 1, and you'll be able to see the motor kind of kick in immediately when I start pedaling. Or not. It's not doing anything. Okay, let's try that again. So a little bit more delayed, given that this is a, you know, 5 sensor pedelec versus like the 12 sensors. This time I'm going to use the throttle. There you go, getting some speed. It's in kilometers per hour right now. There's the light up on the wall. Kind of nice to have that. Woo! I'm gonna change the pedal assist higher now. Okay, now I'm at level 5 pedelec. Okay, so level 5 is, you know, stronger. It is a little bit stronger. There's just not a whole lot of difference between the modes, in my opinion. Just the twist throttle mode. So yeah, you know, I guess I wouldn't be quite as critical of this bike if it was cheaper, but when you get close to that $2,000 mark, I feel like there are just better options out there. And, you know, the whole key placement, the fact that there are 2 batteries on there, the weight, it gives me pause about this one. But it does perform, you know? The motor works. Those rims aren't gonna go out of true. It's pretty tough that way. So that is the Kayman Flash Plus. For the full write-up on this and other Kayman electric bikes, I'll see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com.